What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 18 of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. And today I've got for you guys possibly our last episode of the season, as we are going to be taking on Glasses United for a stab at the title. Since the last episode, not actually many games to tell you guys about this, so this probably will be a slightly shorter episode. However, if you did watch last episode, it was a pretty good win. We beat Manchester 62 FC 4-1. Since then, just two games to tell you guys about. One pretty disappointing result, if I'm honest. The first result wasn't that. We beat Britannia 4-1, a really good result. Ben Connolly grabbing a brace, and well, it was 4-1 at half-time. I wanted more goals in the second half. Unfortunately, they didn't come our way. But Ben Connolly getting the man of the match award. This guy, our top goal scorer in the league, 16 goals in the league, 7 assists, a 7.57 average rate. Really can't argue with his contribution to the team this year. He's just been absolutely superb for us. Anyway, the next game, and the one that is a little bit disappointing, and I kind of alluded to, was this result against College Europa. The game finished 2-1, and well, we've lost to College Europa again. They are becoming our bogey team. If you look at it here, we lost against them, and we met them previously in the league. We lost to them in the Senior Cup. We drew against them in the league before that. We did, of course, beat them in the Pepe Reyes Cup final at the start of the season, however. But yeah, to lose this game, pretty disappointing. We did still kind of maintain, I guess, our goal-scoring run, and it was Ben Connolly with the goal. However, it kind of was little to no kind of silver lining, I guess, to the cloud that was this defeat. It was a really bad result, disappointing because it would have put us in a really great position going into today's game. But the task is still kind of the same regardless of that result. So today we are taking on Glasses United. We've played them before in the league, in live comms. They actually currently sit second place. Of course, last year they got promoted to the Premier Division. So like us, they've really adapted to this division well. You can see that they currently sit on 42 points, 8 points behind us on 50. And there is 4 games left of the season. So a win here would see us go 11 points clear with 9 points possible remaining, which would mean that we do get the title here and now. That has got to be the aim. Elsewhere in the league, Lincoln Red Imps, they have put on a little bit of a late resurgence. If we look at their form, they just beat Europa Point 4-0. Europa Point, the team who are kind of their relegation rivals. You can see Europa Point in 9th. So that was a little bit of a disappointing result. Part of me kind of wants to see Lincoln Red Imps go down. They are one of the big clubs here in Gibraltar. And as much as I kind of admire the legacy that they've led, it'd be an interesting, I guess, narrative to see them get relegated. But not only that, it would just make this save a little bit more interesting. It would kind of make me feel like I'm not safe in the division. And in fact, one thing that I'm perhaps looking forward to with this division is seeing kind of how the teams that are in the top flight change over time. Because as Lincoln Red Imps have proved this year, kind of no one is safe, I guess. And who knows, in 10 years' time, it could be a completely different Primera division, and that would be kind of interesting to see. So anyway, let's get into today's game. In terms of our squad for it, just one injury to tell you guys about. Alexander Reyes getting injured last time out with a twisted ankle, unfortunately, so we are going to have to make some changes there. But regardless, we still have a pretty darn strong team at our disposal. In goal, we are going to go with Felix. Again, I've been playing Joe Borg a little bit, but Felix, I like this guy. This youngster needs first team football to develop. He probably is our best kind of goalkeeper in the team as well, if we compare him to Joe Borg, with the exception of perhaps the mentals and a few physicals, which I don't really rate and value too highly in a goalkeeper. You'd have to say Felix is probably the better player and deserves to start. So the 15-year-old going to play for us there. In terms of the rest of our team, we'll switch to the tactical view. It's a little bit nice if we're going through the team. Right back, we go with Mark Ballester. Been a very good player for us at centre-back this year. Had a bit of an injury setback midway through the year, but he's still fighting for a place in the side. The next player, Adam Roberts, a player who we signed this year. The centre defensive mid comes centre-back. Been a pretty frequent player for us. You can see he's played 23 games. Joined us, of course, last season. And yeah, he's had another fairly solid season at centre-back. Really can't complain with his contribution. The next player we have is Guerrero, the club captain. This guy, he's been a little bit disappointing this year, if I'm honest. He's struggled. His average rating isn't great. He has had injuries, which is worth kind of noting. He had a virus and he also twisted his ankle. Actually, the twisted ankle was a while ago. But the virus, if I remember correctly, that came during a spate of fairly big games. But regardless, he's been okay for us. Left back for today's game, we are going to go with Stephen Clark. Stephen Clark and Glenn Gilbert kind of really fighting for the left back position. I'm really not decided on who I think the better player is, if I'm honest. I feel like Glenn Gilbert is better defensively, but Stephen Clark just offers a lot going forward. He's a lot faster. Perhaps the natural fitness lets him down a smidge. At the end of the day, it's quite nice to have two left-backs like these two guys who really can battle it out for the position. And whilst it is a little bit of a challenge perhaps balancing out the first team football they get. I relish that kind of challenge, and to be honest, I think we're doing a fairly good job at the moment. Anyway, at right mid for today's game, we go with Kadrion Drimmy. This guy, of course, a vital player for us. In our first season at the club, he was absolutely huge. Last season, our first year in the Premier Division, you didn't really see too much of him, if I'm honest. He didn't contribute a load. But this year, 4 goals, 5 assists. He's been I don't want to say an ever-present member of the side, but when he's played very well, and he's earned himself a spot in the team. Anyway, at left mid we go with Griffo, again, another player who's been here since the beginning. This year he's got his record goal tally of 10, and he's also got 6 assists. His average rating is actually the worst it's been in the 3 years that he's been at the club. However, I mean, a 7.57 is not a bad average rating by any means. In the centre of midfield for today's game, we are going to go with Danny B, a player who in our first year with the club was absolutely massive. This year, to be honest, he's been pretty disappointing. He's not got a goal or an assist. A 6.9 average rating relative to kind of players playing the same position as him is pretty poor. And whilst I have now extended his contract as recently as a week ago to the end of next year, he's a player who perhaps we won't see so much of next season, if I'm honest. The advanced playmaker in our midfield, Anthony Hernandez, leading the assist tally in the team. This year he's got 7 goals and 10 assists. Slightly better than last year in terms of the average ratings. Not got the goals he got before, but he's been a really, really good player nevertheless. Anyway, looking at the strikers for today's game, we go with Ben Connolly and Jack Peachman. Connolly, our leading goal scorer in the league, a player who is playing fairly regular football at international level now for Gibraltar. 7 assists, 16 goals so far this year in 20 games. That is a fantastic return for him. Of course, he did suffer that mid-season injury of the twisted knee and was out for 3 to 4 weeks. He's bounced back well since then, and alongside him, a player who's kind of worked his way into the team, Jack Peachman, my regen. Let me remind you, 9 goals in 10 games and 2 assists, a 7.81 average rating. He's been great this year. Pleasantly surprised. He's not a great finisher. Well, I guess he is a great finisher. He's just not very composed and he's not great off the ball. But what he does have is fairly nice physicals. I mean, having 13 acceleration at this level is nice to get away from players. The natural fitness is great. The jumping reach, he can compete with players in the air. And to be honest, he's done a very, very good job for us. It's a shame he's not played for Gibraltar at international level yet, but he has broken into the under-21 side, the 18-year-old. So anyway, that's the team for today's game. I didn't talk about Felix in goal, but I don't think there needs to be much said about this guy. Kind of a torchbearer, I guess, in our team. I feel like this guy could be the player who we really see kind of have a long, successful career at the club. He certainly, in terms of the players we've had come through, has been very, very impressive. And to be honest, that's kind of nice, because if you guys have been watching my series for a long time here on my channel, you'll know that it's actually very rarely, in fact I don't really recall having a player generate as a regen at my club and doing well. Like, if anyone can come up with an exception to the rule, please do. I guess the Oxford save, which I streamed a while ago, might be an exception. But I think back to my old FC United and Manchester save, there were never any players who came through the academy. Lewis, there definitely weren't any players that came through the academy. On my Liverpool save that we started this year, again, a lot of the players were just shipped in. So it's nice to have kind of homegrown players, real homegrown players, and have them in the team. Anyway, we'll see how we get on today. We'll keep an eye on Felix in goal, but we are bringing the ball forward here. Of course, a win would secure us the title, but Leicester whips it in, hits the crossbar from the cross, and Morgan going to clear it away. A good early chance, I guess you could say, us hitting the woodwork from the set piece. Looking at the stats, we are on top in this game, 66% of possession, but with 4 shots on goal, we've yet to hit the target. And 20 minutes in, that's pretty poor, although in 19th minute, we have a set piece. Can we score? Danny B, a player who I criticised. I said he might not play much next year. I tell you what, he might do if he keeps doing stuff like this. He scores a massive goal for us. As I mentioned, this would win us the league. I'm very, very hopeful that he can... I don't know. I'm hopeful that Danny B can stick around at the club, but I just feel like with the quality we've perhaps got come into the team, we might see him kind of relinquish and kind of give up his first team position. But anyway, that's a really good start in this game. Glasgow United, a team who did cause us problems last time we did a live com against them, but we are bringing the ball forward again here. Connolly, the speed demon, passes it. Hernandez somehow gets to it, hits the woodwork again. And it could be 3-0 already. We have a set piece. Can we make anything of this corner? Whipped in. That will probably be cleared away. 30 minutes in though. We are a goal ahead. We've still only had 1 shot on target. But we do look like we are really bossing this game. There's always an element of nervousness, I guess, when you're only that 1 goal to the good that you could still slip up. A draw here would still be a pretty decent result. I've not done the maths, but it may well secure us the title. Certainly it would put us... kind of in pole position to do so. I guess you could say we're already in pole position. Drimmy scores. Let's not talk about a draw. That is a killer goal right there, right before half-time. That is going to hurt Glacis United, who really haven't been at the races today. Stephen Clark, the left-back, whipping it in. Not cleared away fully. Hernandez threads through Drimmy. Calls for offside there, and to be honest, it was very, very marginal. But nevertheless, I'm not going to complain. It's 2-0 here. And at half-time, we are looking very good. And we look like we're about to get our second title in a row. If I'm honest, this season, I thought we'd win the title more convincingly than we have. I thought we'd have it sewn up a lot sooner. There's been some pretty disappointing results that we've had. But at the same time, results like this are what are going to settle and I guess make the difference this year. You think back to the results against Manchester 62. The draw and the win are still very, very big results. If I'm honest, I'm very, very disappointed with how we've done domestically this season. It's been a season to forget in terms of the domestic competitions. The Senior Cup that we got knocked out originally is not a competition that the kind of board value too highly. But I don't know. I still felt pretty disappointed when we got knocked out of that. And particularly the Rock Cup. That was a competition I really favoured us to do well in. And, well, simply put, we haven't this year. I'm going to take off Stephen Clark and bring in Glenn Gilbert. I'm also going to bring in Tristan Sargent, I think, for Danny B. Sargent really been the kind of leading centre mid, I guess, alongside Anthony Hernandez this year. The player who has forced Danny B out of the side. Sargent last year really made a difference for us. When Danny B wasn't performing, we stuck in Tristan Sargent in centre mid. I think he may have even won the Player of the Year award. This year, he's been a fairly frequent central midfielder for us. Perhaps an unsung hero. I definitely think within our 4-4-2 system, the centre mid, the more defensive of the two, really doesn't get the praise they deserve. But I'll tell you what, the players all deserve praise here. 2-0, great little result. That will see us win the league, I do believe. With a game and two to spare, we complete the treble. The treble being, what was the treble? I don't remember winning a treble. What have we won? I'm really confused. We won the Pepe Reyes Cup. And that's it? Unless it's counting the league from last year and some kind of weird bug. I guess that could be it, because the Gibraltar seasons are kind of a little bit weird. Either way, we are going to qualify for the Champions League, which is huge. The board have set our budgets. We've been given a £120,000 transfer budget. Now, unfortunately for me, we don't actually have any players we can attract yet. We really need to go professional. That has got to be the aim for the team this year. We need to get professional as a football club so we can start attracting in players from abroad, because at the moment the main reservation that teams are having is that they don't want to join us, and at the moment I can't actually request professional status. I did it in January and they declined it, so it's only been 4 months. But yeah, we've got a little bit of wage budget to spare. That transfer budget is looking very, very healthy. In terms of the actual club finances, we are 400,000 in the white, or in the black, I guess is how they say it, because we're not in debt. Realistically, I think it's going to be a few more years of regular Champions League football, getting that TV money that, of course, we got earlier on in the year, really farming that, saving it up, sticking it in the piggy bank, to hopefully then, convince the board, yes, we need to go professional, we can challenge in Europe, we can bring in players from abroad, and we can really boss our own kind of domestic division. I certainly think when we get those players, you'll really start to see us start to dominate in Gibraltar, but Europe will remain kind of that big challenge for us. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up this episode from me. Really good results to end the season. I'm not going to do any more of these remaining games. I will join you guys for our Champions League campaign, which will be kicking off early in pre-season. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, please do smash the like button. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.